Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Laces Out podcast, our NFL podcast. Season's heating up. Teams are dropping left, right, and centre, and some of those teams might surprise you. Previous Super Bowl winners are out. Quarterbacks for those teams are out. It's a very different landscape at this point in time. Who have you got down for your Super Bowl, and are they still in the running? Mine aren't. So there's that. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Obviously, the big one, the one we like the most. Share that podcast around, people. Share it, share it, share it. If you like the NFL, maybe somebody else you know likes it, and maybe they're not listening to this right now, and they should be. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast. Laces out. Here we go. It's the NFL football podcast, Laces Out. I am here with my co-host, Paul Williams, to bring you the tastiest of tasty American-style football. It's getting to that time of year. I get to this time of year, and I say it pretty much every week, but it's getting to that time of year. The week gone featured some teams being eliminated from playoff contention. One team in particular, and apparently not just the team, the quarterback. But it's okay, because not all members of the team realised they'd been eliminated before going to a press conference to talk about how they can still get it done. And the press were like, no. They're like, have we been eliminated? It was like, yeah. All right. It's always good to get your information straight before you head out to talk to the press, you know. So we have got a review of week 15 to look at, and then we have got to project into the future to see what week 16 has in store for us. Some delicious, tasty morsels in the way of stats, side bet, bankers and outsiders, which I'm feeling good about this week's because I'm reckoning money is in our pocket. Easy money in our pocket, absolutely. But before all that, we need to talk about some games that happened last week. And what? Oh, look at that. What that looks like for us personally. So, Paul, you can tell us who won last week and what that does for the standings.
I can, and I will.
So I can, and I won't.
I can. I just plain will not.
Just will not.
So yes, as Mr. Cook said, week 15. As we covered in last week's podcast, buys are done. So we're now at a point where everyone will play every week for the rest of the season. So 16 games, 16 points, but one overall weak point to play for. In second place, otherwise known as first loser, although when there's only two of us, it's difficult to be anything other than first loser. So, with 9 of 16 selections correct.
Oh, bad.
The winner this week with 12 of 16 selections correct.
Real difference there.
A very big difference. Well, I say a very big difference. Three games difference. So between us, we were let down. We were let down by 4 teams, I believe. I may have got that wrong. No, I have got that right. 4 teams in particular. We were both let down by the Buccaneers not beating the Falcons.
They did
Oh,
not.
dear God.
I know.
The Bengals not beating the Ravens.
Mm.
The Panthers not beating the Saints. Oh, good Lord.
Disgraceful.
And the Cowboys not beating the Vikings.
Mm.
So those are the four teams that let us both down collectively.
Mm.
The poor sap, who had 3 other teams let them down, were the following. The Kansas City Chiefs did not beat the Los Angeles Chargers. The Green Bay Packers did not beat the Denver Broncos. And the Detroit Lions very much did not beat the Los Angeles Rams, which means that taking an L in the weekly standings for this particular round, we're on round 15, is Mr. Paul Williams. 9 of 16 selections correct for me. Mr. Cook bags the win with 12 of 16 selections correct. So well done to you, Mr. Cook. A big point, a well-needed point, dare we say, as well. Brings you to 5.5 points for the season. I still have that lead with 9.5 points. So we'll see. We're getting to the stage where it's starting to matter a little more.
Oh, I don't like
But
that. I don't like that at all.
overall standings so far, up until last week, we had predicted 208 games in total. After this week, after week 15, we have predicted 224 games so far. Of those 224 games, Mr. Cook has correctly predicted 148. I have correctly predicted 152. So I have a small lead in the overall predictions, but on the week to week, I have that 4-point gap. Side bet wise, we came into the week with Andy on 37 points from a possible 56, me on 44 points from a possible 56. And the selections were as follows. I'll go for myself first, as I had the Eagles to beat the Raiders, the 49ers to beat the Titans, the Seahawks to beat the Colts, and the Texans to beat the Cardinals. That, my friends, is 4 delicious points there. That's a clean sweep. So that moves me on to a possible 48 from 60. I am very happy with my side bet performance this season.
That is
I'm
stellar.
very happy.
Stellar.
I'm very happy. Very, very happy. Mr. Cook started off with the Bears to beat the Browns. Correct. He also in there had the Jaguars to beat the Jets. Also correct. And this is where it falls down. He mistakenly put his faith in a couple of NFC South teams. He backed the Buccaneers to beat the Falcons, and the Panthers to beat the Saints.
Dear Lord.
So, just to clarify, Mr. Cook doesn't get 2 points in the side bet because he put his faith in Baker Mayfield and Bryce Young.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll just move on swiftly. So that puts Andy on a possible 39 from 60. So slipping a little bit further ahead, a bit further behind. 9 points is the gap now in the side bet. So yeah,
oh my word,
that's becoming slightly more of a challenge for you to get back in. Sadly.
No.
So yes, definite work to be done, shall we say, on the side bet. We'll get to that when we look forward to week 16's games. But we also had our bankers and outsiders bet to see whether we could make ourselves a little bit of cash for our end of season festivities. So let me just reopen my Sky Betting account and go to my settled bets to see if we were successful. Now, it was my honours to pick last week, so as my banker of the weekend, I took the Pittsburgh Steelers at 1-2 to beat the Miami Dolphins, which they did. As his banker, Mr. Cook took the 1-10 Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Las Vegas Raiders, which they did. As his rank outsider, Mr. Cook took the Los Angeles Chargers to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, which they very much did. And completing the set, me, as my outsider, I took the Cincinnati Bengals.
No,
At 11-10
no.
to beat the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, I had such high hopes.
They didn't even score a single point.
Oh, God.
Oh, good Lord. So, sadly, no money going in
Oh,
to
it
the
was so
Cookie
close.
podcast coffers this week, sadly. We'll move to next week and hope and pray that it comes right at some point. So, very much for week 15, it very much went in Andy's favour on the overall picks. Sadly, he did find the fall behind in the side bet, and we have no money from our bet. So, a mixed bag, shall we say, from week 15.
That's the game we signed up to all those years ago.
Certainly is.
Yeah, this should
Certainly is.
Um,
That's not week 15 done though,
it is not.
as we have now to move to the stats hour. Over to you.
Now, I have a lot of faith when it comes to certain people, certain jobs, certain activities. I've got faith. I have a lot of faith. Did have to put out a bit of a bat signal at one point today along the lines of, do you think you're going to have time to do the stats with your incredibly busy day? Because if you don't, I can sort of pick that up for you. I was assured absolutely no problems. And coming in at 11 minutes past 6, which the stats mistress delivered to the mailbox, week 15 NFL stats. No credit this week. Gonna go on a limb, probably say USA Today, probably say Nate Davis, but cannot confirm. So if these stats sound a little bit like your stats, and that is not your name, I apologize, but I cannot give you any credit because no credit was given. Obviously, from our side of things, the stats mistress gets all the credit. So let's dive in and see what she's delivered to us. This week, we are starting with the... Oh, no. They let us down on the money, and now they're in with a bullet. The Cincinnati Bengals scored 0 points on Sunday. In the game, they had to win in order to remain on the postseason fringes. Remarkably, the Stripes took the bagel against the Baltimore Ravens despite running 71 plays and holding the ball for nearly 40 minutes. A virtually impossible set of circumstances. It was the first time the Bengals have been shut out since 2017. So much for tying up so much money in quarterback Joe Burrows and wide receivers Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. though the latter was unable to play after returning to concussion protocol for the second time in 3 weeks. Yikes. Ring, ring. Is that CTE calling? Number 2. Yep, we're rolling strong here with the Kansas City Chiefs have now missed the playoffs for the first time in the last decade. That regrettable outcome clinched with Sunday's loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. The last time Kansas City fell short was 2014, Coach Andy Reid's second season with the club. Number 3, 2 teams clinched playoff berths Sunday. The first secured this season, the Los Angeles Rams, boo, and the Denver Broncos. Both punched their tickets to the Super Bowl 60 tournament. Neither team has yet to win its division, but both are in position to win their respective conferences' number 1 seed. The New England Patriots botched their opportunity to clinch the AFC East in a come-from-ahead loss to the Buffalo Bills at Gillette Stadium.
I have never heard that term before, but I absolutely love it. A come-from-ahead loss.
I've never heard it, and I am all about that energy. Great use of words. Number 4, 3 teams were officially eliminated Sunday. The Minnesota Vikings falling by the wayside well before they took the field Sunday night, along with the Chiefs and Bengals. But Sunday was a very painful one beyond the league's shifting playoff ramifications. Several superstars suffered injuries likely to run the gamut as it pertains to long-term consequences. So, I was about to say something, and it is actually the next stat. Number 5, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes suffered a torn ACL near the end of Kansas City's loss, an injury that would have assured he wouldn't play in the AFC Championship game for the first time since he became the team's starter in 2018. Though Casey's loss had also certified the outcome, one of the more remarkable runs in league history comes to an end on that front. I saw something about potential sort of timescales for that injury, and it did not sound good. Did not sound good at all.
The one that I'd seen. Sorry, just to sort of jump in. The one that I'd seen was that people said obviously there's never a good time to get an ACL injury. There's never a good time to get like a long-term injury, but at this point of the season is probably the worst possible time to get one, especially when it's like a 9 to 12 month recuperation period, because you're looking at, as it stands now, he's very much up against it to be fit again to start the season.
So what I saw was that obviously no surprise he's going to miss the rest of the season for the Chiefs. That's a week. As far as next season's concerned, he could end up missing a big chunk of next season, which if you think about where we are now to think about where we will be, that's insane. So I imagine they'll be getting all the wizardry on the go, but difficult injury. Speaking of unfortunate injuries, Green Bay Packers defensive end Micah Parsons may have suffered a similar fate as Mahomes, and his loss would be far more damaging in the context of this season, given the Packers have had the look of a team that could win the Super Bowl. The Pack were up 23-21 at the end of the third quarter when Parsons went down in Denver. Not only did they eventually succumb 34-26, but the loss dropped them from second place overall in the conference and first in the NFC North, 7th. So 1.5 games up on the still dangerous Detroit Lions. My final stat for the week is number 7. The Rams have their own relative level of concern despite locking up
playoff berth. Wide receiver Devontae Adams' hamstring injury could be a huge setback, especially with LA set to play at Seattle on Thursday night. Currently, even with an 11-3 record, though the Rams beat the Seahawks in Week 11, Thursday night's winner will not only move to the top of the NFC West, but also take postseason of the conference's number one seed. Seattle certainly appears to be the healthier team, if a slightly more erratic one than LA. I'll hand over to you for more of those delicious stats.
Yes, indeed. So I can turn you on, not in injury news, but it is in individual person news, shall we say. Commanders linebacker Von Miller is now 12th place on the NFL's all-time sack list. The stat became official in 1982 after he reached 136 and a half on Sunday. Miller moved a half sack ahead of Hall of Famer Jared Allen. Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence threw a career-high 5 touchdown passes in the AFC South leaders' 48-20 rout of the New York Jets. Lawrence also rushed for 51 yards on the ground and another score. It's almost like this guy should have been a number 1 overall draft pick. Wait a minute. If the season ended today, it doesn't. But the New York Giants would be in command of the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 draft. Number 17 QB Philip Rivers has now played 18 seasons in the league. By virtue of being on the Colts active roster, to say nothing of playing an entire game at Lumen Field. And Rivers, 44, provided a valiant effort, whilst passing for 120 yards and a touchdown in an 18-16 loss to the mighty Seattle, with just a few days of preparation and 5 years of rust and extra weight. That seems harsh.
Is that as harsh as people at Madden putting back into the game and putting him in so he looks like a linebacker?
That was.
I mean, that's
was tight.
Some cold shit right there.
So and extra weight. Even if all this hullabaloo will keep him out of Hall of Fame contention until at least 2031. So that was the thing that like a lot of people latched onto last week, obviously with the talk that he was in contention to come out of retirement to start for the Colts. Obviously, he retired 4 and a bit years ago, so he'd almost completed his 5-year eligibility thing for the Hall of Fame, and obviously the second you restart, that clock starts all over again. So like I say, he's now got to wait till 2031, which is insane. Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett now has 21 and a half sacks for the season, extending what was already his career high after he registered 1.5 on Sunday at Chicago. Garrett needs just one more quarterback takedown to tie the single-season record shared by T.J. Watt and Hall of Famer Michael Strahan. Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown had himself a day. Oh, I was fully aware he was on my fantasy team. 13 catches for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. The USC product shining near his old haunting ground, even if it wasn't enough to produce a victory. But it did produce a spot for Mr. St. Brown in the record books. The Detroit star becoming the first player ever to record at least 90 receptions in each of his first 5 NFL seasons. It's been a tough year for the Cardinals, but it will wind up being a significant one for tight end Trey McBride, who had 12 catches for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns in defeat on Sunday. The receptions and touchdowns match McBride's personal best in an NFL game, whilst the yardage total beat his previous career best by 1 yard. McBride now has a league best 105 receptions and became the first tight end in league history to hit the century mark in successive years. McBride and Travis Kelce are the only tight ends with multiple 100-catch seasons in the NFL, Kelce managing it 3 times. With 12 catches over the final 3 games, McBride will break Zach Ertz's single-season record for tight end catches. And with his 16th consecutive game with at least 5 receptions, McBride set a new positional record after being tied on that front with Travis Kelce. And my final stat, Houston Texans running back. Oh, good Lord. Jordan, Jawhar, Jordan, a second-year player, made his regular season debut on Sunday after being promoted from the practice squad a mere 24 hours earlier. And he rushed for 101 yards on 15 carries. If Jordan can actually be a factor in a Houston offense that got a 3-touchdown passing day from quarterback C.J. Stroud in Sunday's 40-20 defeat of the Arizona Cardinals, this team could legitimately be the AFC's best by the time the playoffs start. The Texans at 9-5 remain on track to become the 5th team since 1990 to qualify for the postseason, despite an 0-3 start. I am almost certain that on last week or the week before's podcast, we discussed the fact that none of the teams in the AFC will want to play the Houston Texans in the postseason.
Yeah. For me, at the moment, there are too many weird teams. Like, the Texans are weird. The Broncos thing is weird. I'm just like, can we start getting a feel for what the postseason is going to look like? Can we start getting a feel for that? I don't know. Maybe what the Super Bowl is going to look like. No, not at all. No, because you're just dealing with these teams that are like, hey, don't forget we're here. It's like, can we though? Because you're going to go out in the first round of the playoffs unless you get one of the teams you've beaten already, and you're just going to be like, I always feel that by this point in the season, you're pretty locked in. Week in, week out, you're like, I know what I'm picking. I know which team's going to get it done. I know which. And we have probably had the hardest time of picking games. I mean, I know we're sort of up there in the top end of the scale. Some of us, not others, obviously. But side bet not smooth. Bankers and outsiders not smooth. And at this point in time, when we're about to see what the postseason looks like, not entirely sure what games we're going to be picking and going, oh, this should go this way, but maybe it won't, and then it's going to look, at this point in time, I already want a bracket to be able to say these are the teams that we've got that are probably going into the playoffs. And of those teams, this one's going to be this. I think I said this exact same thing last week. So that we can go, this team's going to beat this team. This team's going to beat this team. So by process of elimination, our Super Bowl could be this. And then you know what you're sort of aiming for. At this point in time, it could literally be anything. Well, I'm not expecting the freaking Patriots.
Well, it could be literally anything apart from the Chiefs.
Well, the Chiefs. I think we're all secretly glad of that. If we could see off the Eagles in the process as well, that I think that'd be nice for everyone, because at least you're going to get something new. Obviously, Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl is always a good one. So there is week 15 in the books. We need to put on our mystic hats and go, yeah, this shit's broken, because we haven't got a fucking clue what we're going to start predicting for the next week and future weeks, I am sure. However, I have done my best, and I've sent Paul some picks for the week. We need to get stuck in on the side bet. Obviously, I would say everything to play for. I don't think that's true at this point in time. But as far as the side bet's concerned, I will always bring up the first year we did the side bet. That's all I'm saying. Go back and listen or watch, because somebody came from behind. We have got our bankers and outsiders to discuss, and that'll probably do us for the week. However, time marches on and technology is against us. So my glass is empty. I'm sure your glass is empty. And everybody's glass is empty right now, because we are pessimists. Enough about that. Let's go and get a drink and return to look forward to week 16 of the 2025 NFL season. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Oh, just like that, we're back. It's like literally a second. I do it each week, and I look at it and go, that's not even a second. The listener / viewer, it could almost not be mentioned. So, should probably think about that moving forward. Well, week 15 is gone. It's done. It's in the history books. We have put it up on the shelf with 14 other weeks to live there for the rest of time. But as we've already said, time marches on, and we march at a rapid pace towards week 16. Now then, this is where things are going to start getting a little bit tricky, because we'll get all of this week's games, but then it turns into a whole host of situations. I saw a thing today, just as a quick aside, I will try and make it quick. Saw a thing today about how Netflix and Amazon Prime have been absolutely shafted on the games that they are showing on Christmas Day, because obviously when those games were booked, they'll have been booked with the mentality of they're absolutely going to be monstrous games if you look at the teams in question last year. However, and then it broke down each of the 3 games and was like, here's a game that means absolutely nothing. Here's a game that would have had a team that was going to the playoffs this time last year. They're not this year. So it's like basically saying that it will have cost these companies millions of dollars to get these games on their streaming services, and will net them next to nothing because there's no reason to watch them. You're not watching them for, this game is vital for this, that, and the other. You have no reason to watch those games, so can happily skip them. So those companies have been shafted. And I was like, yep, you've got a point there, sir. You do have a point. So, yes, like I say, we'll get through this week. Normal predicting away. Over next week, games all over the place. Chris. Feel weird saying next week and Christmas in the same sentence, because some of us may have had a small panic last night and gone, where are the rest of the gifts? Hang on, something has surely gone wrong here. Fuck. So yeah, there was absolutely no mad scrambling whatsoever to correct any oversight at all. And all I will say on this is I'm glad Leanne does not listen to, watch, or pay any attention to any podcasts I do. Anyway, moving on swiftly. Week 16
Well,
is to predict, and I know for a fact that I have predicted, and I know for a fact that you will have predicted. So let's see what those predictions look like and where we will be getting many games wrong. Because, you know.
Well, we keep reiterating it. Week 16. 16 games to predict. 16 predictions from myself, 16 predictions from Mr. Cook. So, we start with the Thursday night game, which we did cover in the stats, is between the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, obviously, the Rams go into this knowing they are in the postseason, but they are still playing for the NFC West division title, and much more importantly, the number one overall seed for the NFC. The Seahawks, at this point, I think would have to find themselves very unfortunate if they were to lose out from this point and still not make the postseason. So, very much all to play for. However, both myself and Mr. Cook have gone with the Rams to get the win here. The one thing that does concern me slightly is that Davante Adams injury that was discussed in the stats. Even if I think with this one, because it's such a close game, because it's such a tight game, because it's such an important game against the Seahawks, it would make a lot more sense to play him. But I think if he's anywhere close to sort of not being 100%, you just don't risk him. So that is the only thing that does make me slightly concerned about this one. But I do think the Rams will have enough in the tank to get the win.
And if they haven't, they could probably just buy themselves a win. No?
Well,
no?
That's...
No, we're not doing that this season. We're not bothering to buy a win this season, or what? We're going to buy a win? Let's buy a win. Let's buy a vowel and a win, please.
So that's our Thursday night game. The next game on the slate is the first of our Saturday night football, as the college season has come to an end. Well, the college regular season, I should say, has come to an end. We do still have college playoffs to go through at some point in the near future. So that has now opened up the Saturday slate. So from this week onwards, there will be games played on a Saturday evening as well. The first sees the Eagles travel to Washington, DC, to take on the Commanders. And surprise, surprise, we've both gone with the Eagles. We move to the Sunday 6 p.m. slot. We have the Packers at the Bears. And despite the Bears being atop the division, we are both gone with the Packers. We have the Buccaneers at the Panthers. Both of these teams coming off the back of losses that they very much could have done without last week. But myself and Mr. Cook have both backed the Buccaneers to bounce back on this one. We have the Buffalo Bills at the Cleveland Browns. We've both taken the Bills. We have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Dallas Cowboys. We've both taken the Chargers, should I say. They have the New York Jets at the New Orleans Saints. And maybe surprisingly, we've both taken the Saints in that one. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the New York Giants. We've both taken the Vikings. The Kansas City Chiefs minus Patrick Mahomes at the Tennessee Titans. We've both taken the Chiefs, regardless of their quarterback situation. And the final of the 6 p.m. slate of games sees the Cincinnati Bengals at the Miami Dolphins. We have both taken the Bengals. into the late window where we see the Atlanta Falcons at the Arizona Cardinals. It's a pair of Falcons picks. I'll leave this next one and come back to it. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Detroit Lions. We've both taken the Lions. The Las Vegas Raiders at the Houston Texans. It's Texans picks across the board. The Sunday Night Football sees the New England Patriots travelling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. We've both taken the Patriots. And the Monday Night Football sees the San Francisco 49ers travelling to Indianapolis to take on P-Riv and the Colts. We've both taken the 49ers. Now, what that means is that the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed that we have picked the exact same for 15 of the 16 games this week, which leaves us with the final game. It's not the final game. It is one of the games in the 9 o'clock slot. And it's the Jaguars at the Denver Broncos. And it is our only difference of opinion game of the week.
Yeah.
Mr. Cook has taken the Broncos. I have taken the Jaguars. Now, I keep banging the drum about the fact that I feel like they need to lose a game.
They do.
To be correct, to be in the right mindset to that. But what I will say is that performance against the Packers did make me think, okay, they've got their head in the game now. They're thinking about it a bit more. They're maybe being a bit more sort of proactive. They're actually sort of going out and taking care of business. They're actually putting someone to the sword. So and so, so and so. I still feel that they need a loss to rewrite them and put them on the course to get them through the postseason.
I've got next week's game.
Are you looking forward as to who they've got left after this?
Who have they got next week?
So week 17, they're playing the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Okay.
And then the week after, they finish against the Chargers. So you could find yourself in a position.
I don't think I like either of those games. Because
obviously it's the Chiefs minus Mahomes.
And that's what I mean. I think the way the Broncos are playing, just statistically, they can get that game done. So that brings it down to the Chargers versus the Broncos in the last of the regular season. And as we know, the Chargers love shit in the bed when you need them. The Broncos could go through the rest of the season not losing a game. Now, obviously, you have decided that the Jags are enough to get it done this week. And I am with you. I am absolutely. I've picked the Broncos. I am with you on what you have said. Every week we've said they've got a loss coming. It's going to be at some point. We are running out of weeks and we are running out of games, but it's there somewhere. Because I honestly believe that the Broncos go into the playoffs and get beat week 1. And that's the end of it. And then it was all for nothing. The only way the playoffs look any way near half good for them is if they get some of the worst teams in the playoffs. But then it's a different conversation anyway. So our week is decided by one pick.
Correct. So we will definitely have a winner.
That sounds awful.
But does make for interesting.
It does.
Reading, I suppose. That's the week 16 picks.
Yes.
Just leave us with the side bet and the outsiders and the bankers to go through. So side bet, like we said, the difference is 9 points.
Don't think I'm getting it back.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to start off, and then you can have the 2 picks back to back?
I'll take the Buffalo Bills to beat the Cleveland Browns. I keep saying it week in, week out. The Bills need each of these wins, not just for the fact that they need to win games. It's more about making a statement at this point. They have to go in as one of the strongest teams in the playoffs. They can't just rock up and be like, "Oh, we won a lot of games, but we also lost a few as well," because that sends the wrong message across the board. They have to go in with, "We won games and we lost a few." So Bills have got to get it done. They need to get it done. They had a great comeback. I didn't know whether to mention the. Did you see the Dave Portnoy thing?
No.
Oh, talk about Dave Portnoy decided to go on social media part way through the Patriots Bills game and give it Billy Big fucking bollocks. When the game finished, he then had to go back to social media with, "Yeah, probably spoke a little too soon on that one. My bad." And obviously, the internet is a very forgiving place and nobody's mentioned. Lol. I will now hand over to you for some of your delicious side bet picks.
It's a good first pick, the Bills at the Browns. However, I am slightly surprised that you've left the Texans at home to the Raiders on the table for me, so I will snap that straight up as my first pick. And I will follow it up. Not as easy as I first thought, really.
No.
Looking across it.
I'll
go for the
Eagles. Next pick.
Some interesting games when you look at them. Yeah, I'll take the Eagles to beat the Commanders in my second pick.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I'll tell you the games I'm not touching, and it's quite a lot of them. So I did spot one where I was like, "Oh, that's probably a cheeky pickup there." I don't want to put my faith in certain teams, but there are some picks that are better than others. So weirdly, I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings to take care of the New York Giants. You can never really put your faith in a team that's got more losses than wins, but they are playing a team that has got 10 more losses than wins because they are 2-12. So I believe that 10 loss difference is probably going to be the difference there. Now we're starting to get into the weeds a little. We're going to start seeing some real pickety-roos here, but part of me almost feels dirty saying this, and not the good kind of dirty. I will take the New England Patriots to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Simple fact there is the Ravens don't seem to know whether they're coming or going week in, week out. They are not the team you bet your house on. I would even bet, I don't know if I'd put a pound on them this season. The New England Patriots find themselves in the exact same position as the Buffalo Bills, weirdly having lost to them last week. They are making an attempt to make a case for don't count us out, etc. etc. We've been counted out for the last few seasons, blah, blah, blah. They've done well. It's one of the few times that I've actually been sort of like Yeah, good on them. They're doing well. They need each week to be a win. So for that reason, I'm saying New England Patriots for this one. I'm going to hand back to you to see what's left.
Mm. So I will go with the 49ers
Yeah, that was the one I was trying to hold on to.
to beat the Colts. And then it's between two. The two games I'm looking at is the Lions Steelers
Oh,
and the Chiefs Titans.
of those, I had my eye on the Chiefs game because of the fact that the Titans are so incredibly bad. Even a Patrick Mahomes plus Chiefs should be able to get it across the line.
Mm. However, I am going to leave that one alone, and I will go with the Lions to beat the Steelers, mainly because it's in Detroit.
Mm.
And at this particular point, I feel like they're in win or bust territory.
Yeah,
So,
they are
yes, give me the
another
Lions.
weirdly another team where you look at them and like you've got to get a win. You've had a few too many bad games. Yeah. Is it back to me?
It is. It's your final pick.
I'd love to be able to say I'll take the Chiefs off the board. The Titans are fucking awful this season. The Chiefs, even without Mahomes, you would hope that there's enough there to get it done. However, there is another game I'm mulling. I don't know if I want to let it come down to a 5-9 versus a 3-11, though. There is another game there. You're talking about an old quarterback going up against a 10-4 team. Oh, actually, yeah. Give me the San Francisco 49ers to beat
I've
me.
already got them.
No, damn it.
Ha!
No,
Sauce.
give it to me. Give it to me. Okay, so at this point in time, my choices are the Falcons to beat the Cardinals or taking the Chiefs. Because I think everything else is just too. Do you know what? Bollocks. I'll take the Kansas City Chiefs to take care of the Tennessee Titans. And if that is the hill that I die on, then so be it. If the Titans get at this point in time, good fucking luck to them. I would have thought they'd be playing for draft at this point in time.
Well, this is the thing. So, to clarify, Andy has the Bills at the Browns, the Vikings at the Giants, the Patriots at the Ravens, and the Chiefs at the Titans. That is 4 road games, ladies and gentlemen. I have the Texans at home to the Las Vegas Raiders, the Eagles at the Washington Commanders, the 49ers at the Indianapolis Colts, and the Lions at home to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I've got a 2 of each there. I've got 2 road teams, 2 home teams. That just leaves us with the outsiders and bankers to go through. And it was Mr. Cook's honours to set us off this week. His banker was the 1-3 Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Washington Commanders. My banker was the 1-3, San Francisco 49ers to beat the Indianapolis Colts. Andy's outsider was the 13-8 Tennessee Titans to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And my outsider was the 5-4 New England Patriots at the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow.
So the Ravens are favourite, even though they have a worse record than the Patriots.
Much worse record.
Yeah. Don't really understand that one personally. So, if all of those four come in, which obviously, as per usual, we hope they do, that will return 9.5 to 1. So we'll get back £10.50 for our pound stake if those four teams win. And that brings us to the end of the podcast. So I'll pass you back to Mr. Cook to bow us up and take us home.
Oh, well, there we go. Week 15 gone. Week 16 to look forward to. The book is done. The podcast is done. We are done. What I can say is that the season is drawing towards a close. We will head to postseason. Obviously, we've been through it already. It's not like you feel like you can pick your teams at the moment. Hopefully, by postseason, there will be a bit more of a idea of what we're looking at. I've seen a few things today that talking about the script's been leaked, the Bills are winning it this year, etc., etc. Personally, I'd love to see it. I do think it's time for the Bills to take the trophy and walk off into the sunset. Fingers crossed on that one. I will absolutely be there with bells on if that's the case. But we know what the Bills are like as the season gets longer. Well, we know. So join us next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, and then we will discuss what the week after will look like with dealing with Christmas games. I am excited. Is not the word. I am elated. So we'll be here with Christmas jumpers and Christmas hats on and all of the Christmas bellies and all of that. So, look forward to that one. Eggnog in hand. Non-alcoholic eggnog, please. But yes, until next week, enjoy your games, enjoy your weekends, enjoy the trying to work out if we're going to win some money, and just enjoy it. Until next time, bye from me, it's bye from him, and it's bye till next time. Tatty buys.
So there you go, what do you think to that? Another one done, another one gone. A week of games gone, a week of games to look forward to. Obviously, the season's marching on to the end of the regular season, and we will be here through the playoffs and all the way up to the Super Bowl. So join us for those upcoming episodes. The ways you can get involved more is by like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review, and check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There you can get in touch with us in any way you want, email, social media, any of that juicy good stuff. And drop us a line, tell us who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. We'll give you a mention if you do. That is it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode of Cookie Cast, please like, share and subscribe.